At this time, we're going to move straight into the agenda for today. Let's have a look at our agenda for today so we know what we'll be doing. We'll go from our opening prayer. We're going to start with a prayer, and so we're going to also end with a prayer. So at this time, I would love for a volunteer to please go ahead and give us a 1-minute prayer. A volunteer, please. You can just unmute or raise your hand, and I'll call you and you can pray for us, please. Okay, I don't see any volunteer. Maybe I should go ahead and just call someone. Please, Okorafor, could you please go ahead and pray for us, please? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Just hope it was my name I had. Doctor, do you mean me?
Yes, you.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining. So can we say a brief word of prayer? And so, Lord, we give you praise. Thank you for how thus far you've been with us. Thank you for section 103. Thank you for the leaders. Thank you for every members. Thank you for the progress made thus far. We commit this meeting or session into your able hands. We ask that you take charge of everything that will be done today to the praise and glory of your name. We ask that the internet will be in our favor. We won't have issues with the internet in the name of Jesus. We open this meeting in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that amazing prayer. We sincerely do appreciate Madam Okorafor for that prayer. All right, so we'll move on to the next agenda for today, which is our safety moment. Remember, especially as those working in the energy industry, it's always about safety first. We need to think safety. Yes, we're not meeting physical safety measures we can put in place, we can take note of. So some of our safety moments we're bringing to you is, first of all, please mute your mic if you're not speaking. And if you want to speak, the time use your raise hand emoji. You'll be called upon and you can go ahead and speak. For those of us that will be engaging the chat box, which I encourage every single one of us to do, please ensure you use the letter P when it's a comment and use the letter Q when you have a question. So our moderators and facilitators will be able to know how to handle it and it won't look like you've been ignored. And also, if you're using a headset or some kind of earpiece or something, please ensure you can still hear the different alarms around you, like fire alarms, incident alarms, or any of those alarms around you. Also, be sure and be aware of wherever you are joining this meeting right now. Some of us might be joining from a public place or from a hotel room or from a preserved area. Please ensure you're very much aware of your environment. In case of an incident or an accident, you can be able to reach out and give location of your position for rescue purposes. Always keep safe, especially those of us joining us from a public place. Ensure you have your nose mask on. Ensure you have a running water beside you to wash your hands at different time intervals. If you don't have running water, ensure you do have your hand sanitizer to help keep your hands safe and free from the coronavirus or the Delta variant raving round. And above all, ensure you keep social distancing, especially for those of us joining this session from a public environment. Thank you very much. So these are some of our safety moments and our safety actions we expect you to take. So we'll move on to the next agenda for today, which is our welcome address. And our welcome address to be delivered by none other than our amiable, beautiful, smart, you can just name it all. I call her one goodie bag for women in energy for Papa section. Please go ahead, Mark. The virtual podium is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Dorcas, and a very good evening to everyone. Do you know, or how many of us actually know, that creating a personal brand sometimes can be very daunting? In fact, some people think that is a mythical task. The easiest way to get lost in this process is basically by not knowing where to start. It may surprise you that somebody like Oprah Winfrey had to go through a lot of iterations, before she was able to define her voice into becoming one of the most influential personal brands in the world. Now, in a time as ours, where people are gradually moving away from look at me, are gradually moving towards look at me, as opposed to I don't want to come across as being proud. It means that it's going to be helpful and necessary that we are able to identify and define our own brand. The difference in your career can just be between defining who you are and thank you for being here. I'll say that again. The difference can just be between who you are and thank you for being here in your career. That can just be the difference. So I wish to welcome you warmly once again to SPE Port Harcourt section, particularly to the maiden event of our dear section. I am Tombari Emeka Durizo, and on behalf of this WIN subcommittee, I wish to welcome you very much. We do appreciate you for taking our time to join and to grace this occasion. We want to thank particularly and especially our keynote speaker and also members of the panelists who have come across who are joining us right now from different parts of the world and across the continent to grace this occasion. We appreciate you and we thank you for joining. We also want to thank our amazing audience. Yes, you, who right now cuts across students, YPs, professionals, senior members, past section chairs, SD. Thank you so much for joining this event. We want you to relax, and we want you to relax because you are in safe hands. This is going to be an experience that when you leave here, you would have been able to understand how you can build your brand and boost your career. I also want to recognize the members of the board, our section chair and the board members. We thank you also for joining us. Thank you for supporting the WIN committee. The WIN committee is actually a standing committee of the SPE International Women in Energy Committee. It was actually launched in 2016, basically to promote gender diversity in the upstream oil and gas industry. And our vision is to see that we can empower women to realize their full potential in the oil and gas industry. Now, I am not alone pulling and steering this boat. I have an incredible team behind me doing this. We have myself, and then we also, myself, Tombari Duruzo, and then we have Madam Shola. She's also been the advisor. Thank you, Mark, for your support through. We also have Ofure. She's been amazing, a great supporter. And then we also have Dorcas. Dorcas too has been an amazing team. And yes, we have a gentleman in our midst who is also the support, one of the support behind also the things that we are going to be doing during this board year. We recognize Jane, our amiable powerhouse. She's the one behind all the work that we've been putting forth. We have Iwawari, we have Queen, and we have a name. These guys have been amazing. Today promises to be truly exciting and very insightful. My team and I are determined to ensure that your time here with us is indeed well spent. Our speakers and panelists today will be sharing their personal experiences on the theme, building your personal brand, building your professional brand, and how you can use that to boost your career. We will thereafter entertain questions from the audience, and then we hope to be able to trash peculiar issues that concerns us, not just as women, but also as people looking to build a brand in your niche, whatever career you find yourself in. There will also be a section, a brief session of the Kahoot session, where there will be exciting prizes to be won. So we encourage you to sit back and be part of it. We hope that we will be able to capture and learn from the experiences of the panelists and the members of the audience. Once again, as we begin, I would like to welcome you and thank you, every one of us, for dedicating our time to attending this event. Do sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight as we cruise through what we have in stock for you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Tombari. See, I told you, everyone, that she is smart, intelligent,
one goodie bag. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that wonderful welcome address. Right now, I feel very, very, very much welcome. All right, so we'll move on to the next agenda for today, which is our icebreaker section. So our icebreaker section is just a time to get us to relax, to feel welcome and not all tied up. What will we be doing at our icebreaker section? We get the opportunity to find out how much we know our senior members in SPE Port Harcourt section. We'll be showcasing 3 of them today, and we'll get to find out how much you know them. And we'll put up a poll section, and all you have to do is click which you think are true and which is a lie about them. So we have Engineer Debola Bada, we have Engineer Dr. George Iwo, and Dr. Joseph Anyebi Bama. So let's move on, please, to the very first senior member we're going to find out 2 truths and a lie about. So our first senior member we're going to be treating is Engineer Adebola Bada, which was our past section chairman, PC, section director. Please launch the poll. Host, please go ahead and launch the poll so people can vote the 2 truths and 1 lie about Engineer Adebola Bada. Please, everyone, if you check your screen, a poll has been launched. All you need to do is click, okay? People are responding. I see lots of responses, 4, 5, we have about 56 or 58 participants here. So let's get some more responses, please. Okay. Okay. We have only 7 participants so far. It won't cost you anything to click on and participate. Please, let's click and participate.
So, Dorcas, people are saying that they can't see the poll. Was the poll timed? Because it looks like the poll disappeared after a certain time.
Oh, okay. It's timed. Oh, so it has ended then. Okay,
Yes.
Simeon. Okay, Simeon, please go ahead and share that result. Okay, now we know that. So please, the minute the poll is launched, go ahead and click and vote. Please, Simeon, can you share the results? Let's see. All right. Out of the 4 persons that participated, all answered through 100%, and false is 0%. For the first question that says, Mr. Adebola Bada has been an SP professional member for 22 years. Every answer was correct, true. For Mr. Adebola Bada's 19th year wedding anniversary was on the 30th of November. Even I do not know the answer for that one. We had 3 correct and 1 not correct. Then the last one says, Mr. Adebola Bada is a child of a civilian. Is it true or false? And we have 25% say false and 75% say true. All right. Well done, everybody. Well done. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to the second participant.
Lucas, maybe before you move, I think Sabada is on the call, so he's going to tell us which is true. So I think that would help too.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Which is a lie, I mean, which is a lie.
We won't know which is true or which is a lie, except he testifies himself. So, yes. Engineer Adebola Bada, please, could you give us the realistic answer?
Okay, so thank you very much for this. This is quite a fun, having this kind of facts about you. It keeps me also thinking, The first one, 22 years. Yes, I've been with SP for 22 years. So that's very correct. And also for my wedding anniversary is the 19th wedding anniversary is just, it was 2 days ago, I think. Yeah, on the 30th. So that was also correct. And then the third one, so I've been soldier at Pekin, so I'm not a child of a civilian. My dad is soldier,
Not at
so I
all.
think, so I lived in the barracks all through. Thank you.
But sir, was your mother soldier too?
It's always like that. It's soldier is soldier. Everybody would have been soldier. Children, wives, everybody is soldier. The same.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for revealing the truth. I got to find out one truth about you that I never knew before. And I want to ask myself, God, when somebody's counting 19, I'm counting only 3 months. Congratulations, sir. Thank you so much. All right, so let's move on to the next senior member. Okay, so our second senior member of Engineer George was. So please, let's go ahead and vote before the time runs out. Okay, I see lots and lots of persons voting this time around. Thank you. 15. Oh, we're climbing, we're getting somewhere. Over 22 persons. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for participating. Good job. So no one is a lie now. All of them are all true. Well, the person will confirm. There's still more time, people. We can still vote. We have 32 persons so far. Okay, all right, so I have 31 persons out of the 66 persons that voted. And for the first question that says Engineer George's favorite game are golf and table tennis, we have 90% of the persons say true, and we have 10% of the persons say it's false. And then the second question of Engineer George's currently works in Nigerian Adjectives Oil Company. We have 84% say true, and 16% of those persons say it's false. And the very last but not the least questions, Engineer George attended 3 secondary schools, and we have 42% say true, 42%, and 58% say false. All right, let me share the results so others can see it, and then I can also call on Engineer George Iwar. Engineer Dr. George, sir, please, are you on the call?
I don't think he's on the call.
Yes, I don't see him on the call. Okay, so who is very close or representing him to be able to confirm these answers to us? Because even I myself, I'm not sure.
Okay, so based on what he shared with us, indeed, his favorite games are golf and table tennis, and is a retiree of Nigerian Adjectives Oil Company, so he doesn't work with them anymore. He's retired, and he sure attended 3 secondary schools, and he gave us the name of the secondary schools in this order: Comprehensive High School, Western Ahoda County High School, and Enitona High School. So the lie here is that it's statement 2 saying he currently works in Nigerian Adjectives Oil Company. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ofure. It's shocking that you would even know Engineer George way more than I do. I feel ashamed of myself. I need to get closer to him. And now we know. So if you want to catch or network, have a good time with Engineer Dr. George Iwar, fix him up for a golf or a table tennis game. Thank you. That was wonderful. All right, so let's move on to the third participant and our amiable, amazing section chairman, Dr. Joseph Amebi Bama. Please, let's go ahead and launch the poll so people can start voting. Thank you. Hello? The poll left my screen, so I don't know. Oh, it needs to be relaunched. Okay, sorry, let me relaunch that. There, it's been relaunched, please. Sorry, let's go ahead and. Okay. I have 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 27 so far. Let's see if you can have a 30.
Dorcas, are you speaking? We can't hear you.
Hello, can we hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so we have about 34 persons voted. I can't relaunch this thing again. Keep missing it. Anyways, we had about 34 persons voted, and I saw the results about, for the first question, Dr. Joseph Amebi Bama favorite soup is afang soup. We had about 80% persons voted, although some more persons are still voting again now because the thing was relaunched. And Dr. Joseph Amebi Bama's love reading inspirational books. And Dr. Joseph Amebi Bama is a very strict person. That was the third question. So we'd like to call on Dr. Joseph to please confirm the right answers to these questions. Please, Dr. Joseph, go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening once again, everyone. I think the first question is, I think the answer is true. My favorite soup is actually afang soup. And the second question, what I love reading, sincerely, that is also true. I love reading inspirational books. But the last one is not true because that is a misconception many people have about me. I know very well that I'm very much emotional when it comes to handling many things. So I'm not actually a very strict person. I listen to people and I try to stand by the rules. So that's just it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that truth. But, you know, as a teacher you are, people are more likely to think you're strict. So maybe that's why people get that conception, build that idea about you. But thank you for revealing to us today that you're very emotional and as soft as a pillow. Thank you so much, sir. And also, thank you, everyone. Thank you, all our participants, our senior members that volunteered for this section. We sincerely do appreciate you joining us and clarifying us on those truths. All right, so at this time, we'll move on to the next agenda for today. I see a lot of laughter on the chat box. Yeah, I am as surprised as you people are too. All right, so we'll move on to the recognition of our board and senior members. We have several board and senior members joining us here. We have the likes of our section director, Engineer Debola Bada, as earlier mentioned before, and also spoke to us a little bit. We also have Madam Adesola Robinson. She was the immediate past wing chairperson and also a senior member of SP Section 103. Also have our section director, Engineer Debo Fabami. Thank you so much, sir, for always being here for us. Of course, we have Ella Mozan, our moderator for today. Thank you, ma'am, for joining the section and gracing this occasion for us. We also have, just give me a second. Oh, I see Madam Imabong Basi, the woman with a golden heart and a lover of children and people around her. Thank you so much, Madam Imabong, for joining us. We sincerely do appreciate your time and you being here. I also see our DPC, Madam Ngozi Okonkwo. Thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing this occasion. We sincerely do appreciate out of your busy schedule. I also see Madam Patience. Madam Patience Abeda, aka Pat. Thank you so much for joining the section. We sincerely do appreciate you for gracing us with your presence. We have several amazing and other senior members. But of course, I cannot stop this recognition or put it to an end without recognizing our senior and special member, our section director, none other than Dr. Joseph Amiebi Bama. Please, sir, now go ahead and give your children your blessing before we go into the deep part of this section of this program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I want to once again welcome everyone to this maiden win event for the board year. And in fact, when I saw this topic, I was just wondering why the win committee has to choose this topic, because this topic is not just for win. I think it cut across everybody. Build your brand, build your career. And this is very important, particularly in this period we find ourselves. Who are your competitors? Who are your audience? What about your personality? You want to have a business name? What is the slogan you should be known of? And then these are things that has to do with branding, because branding is key for you to win. And that is why many names are swearing in business enterprises like Dangote and so on. Dangote is a brand. Many people have a franchise using Dangote's name. So it's very, very important that we know how to build a brand. Then when we talk about building a career, your own career, what are you looking at? Before you build a career, you must have a target. You must have options. What are your potential options? Okay. You need to look at the market as well. You look at salary. You need to look at several, even your qualification. Before I even conclude on this little talk, I need to tell you something, just a little story about a staff I have. she's a cleaner, and I cherish her so much because she's very hardworking. But there's something special about her. Every day she comes to work, she says she comes with granite. She sells granite, and her granite is special. You know, people don't waste time to grab the granite. So I asked her one day, what do you use in making this granite? That was the first time I got to know that, you know, she doesn't use sand to fry her own granite. Rather, she used gari. And I see the reason why people are just rushing to buy the granite all the time. Eventually, after some weeks later, I saw her doing some kind of branding. She called her own Leti Pro Health. Her name is Letitia. She called her granite Leti Pro Healthy Food, Sand-Free Kitchen Fresh Peanuts. Sincerely, I got impressed, and I told her every day, keep coming with it. You know, but because she's a cleaner, you know, there's some kind of maximum level she can go in her career unless she progresses with her studies. So she came to me and said, sir, please, I want to further my education. I said, really? I'm very much impressed. You will not believe it. This lady picked a form and she has started a part-time because she knows if she doesn't have the right qualification, she cannot actually grow. So this topic is very important. In fact, when I heard that Rita is going to talk about this, I got quite impressed. And then when I look at the panelists as well, Amina and the rest of them, look, I was quite impressed, and I believe that we're going to get the best from this. So I wish you all, you know, the best of listening ears to listen attentively to these, our speakers, because I know we are going to learn from it. We are going to see how we can also brand our business, because for you to brand, you must have a skill. You must have a focus. You must have something you want to do. So please, thank you very much for this topic. Thank you. And I welcome everyone once again. And I wish you the best of evening. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much, our very able section chair, for that warm remarks. Thank you very much. So without further ado, we'll push further into the program, and we'll quickly take an opening remark from one of the panelists. We'll do a proper introduction of her when we get to the panel session, which will be after the keynote speaker. And she is Madam Amina Damadani. I'll leave the proper introduction of her to the moderator when we come up, but she is the wing chair at the SP Nigeria Council level. So she will be just briefly telling us a bit about the work that is going on there and how we can build our brand. So Madam Amina, over to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having me speak to Port Harcourt section. I'm really grateful and honored for that. I would like to stand on existing protocol. However, I would like to thank my boss, Alhaji Abba, who is on the call right now. And then I see Safina, my family members, Safina, Zalifa, Fatima, Hawa. Thank you very much for making out time to join. I'd like to thank everyone also for joining and for listening. And Port Harcourt session, this is a very apt topic: build your brand, boost your career. You know, this is what we need as women right now and always. So I think it's on point. Next slide, please. So my name is Amina. I'll be introduced later. So as we all know, this is the reality of the oil and gas industry. It's not actually just the oil and gas industry, but the STEM industry in general. We have more men and women, mostly as a result of the outdated idea that women can't handle physical labor, such as working in mines or pipelines or things like that. And because women are not given the opportunity to work in such operational areas, it's very difficult for them. As you can see from the entry-level position, senior executives and all, it's very difficult for a woman to move to senior exec, because what qualifies you actually is the field field experience, and then that is how you get to rise and become. So we have like just 1% of women getting to CEO. This is mainly and I can relate to that. And I think it starts, I don't know, because my son, every time his toy spoils or something spoils in the house, and they go, let's ask mama. And then when I say I can't fix, mama, I thought you were an engineer. And I'm like, I'm a chemical engineer, so I'm not trained to fix things like this. This is for technicians. And then he goes, the next day I heard him, something happened and they were going to say, mama, come and fix that. And I heard one of them say, let's go and Google it. Mama is not a real engineer. That really touched me. So I felt that I should, I had to start rebranding in the house. I'll be using some engineering terms so that I can reclaim my safe face, so to speak. So to address that gender gap in the oil industry, the SPE started the Women in Energy, though it has now been changed to diversity and inclusion to include some other things, with the main vision of uplifting the woman and promoting to empower women to realize their full potential, and in order to promote gender diversity in the oil and gas industry. And there are so many ways, as you can see, listed by which the WIN committee achieves that. So there are some, can you go to the next slide too, please? So for women to achieve their, to their full potential, we have some, women have some, bias. There's this, bias that we already have, like boys are better in mathematics. So I call this slide, can we go back to the earlier slide, please? Can you stay here, please? So there are some, I call them myth busters, because they no longer hold true, if at all they were ever true, that boys are better at mathematics. This girl, Faith Odunsi, who is the global leader now, winner of the global open mathematical competition, has proved that wrong. Even if we had any doubts before, we don't have any doubts as of this year, because she beat out China. Imagine those Chinese, UK, US, she beat them and became the best globally. We have Mrs. Eloho, who is now the MD of SNEPCO. We know how technical SNEPCO is. So we can't say females lack focus any longer, So this picture that has all these ladies here, there's this myth that STEM careers are antisocial when you have an engineer or and any technical role at all, that you don't have a social life, or you can't be, you can't be cool. I'm sure from that picture, you can see some cool ladies in there. These are our very senior members of SPE who have been driving the women empowerment program. They've all been women leadership chairs at one point or the other in the picture. I don't know if it's very clear to everyone. So that too has been busted, is no longer true. There's another myth again, that men keep women out. I don't think that is true, because no one can keep you out without your permission. And in SPE specifically, I would say that our men have been fantastic. They've been awesome. In fact, they drive the women agenda more than even the women. I know some people like Professor Iledare, Mr. Chikezie Nwosu, that are fighting to make sure that women are ably represented in everything. There was a program we had in Abuja section. For some reason, we didn't have a female on the group. They were the ones that were on our necks to make sure we had a woman on the group. So we have our he for she's in this picture. They were taking the picture and I entered the picture just to say thank you to them for being very positive to us. So what then is the problem? Why are there so many, why don't we attain what's the problem? I think it is us. We allow this imposter syndrome, the biases that we've grown up with and all of that, because we have everything going for us. We have, networking programs. We are educated. We have men, our allies, they are supporting us. We have everything going for us. So what is the problem? I think it is us. It is you and I and everyone. We need to get up and do something, evolve. Can we go to the next slide, please? We need to evolve. This is one of my mentors, this is the Deputy Secretary General of the UN, Mrs. Amina Mohammed. You know, she's an inspiration to a lot of women. She has, you know, this is her picture of when she was, this was in 1976, I think, that she took the picture. And this is Mrs. Amina today. That's the picture on the right. She has evolved, she has grown, she has read, she has shared her knowledge. You know, she is she. We all know her. Once you say UN, once you talk about women issues, once you talk about, you know, she has branded herself. She has involved herself in a lot of things that she's interested in. She has shared her knowledge, you know. So that is what women need to do. We need to get involved so that we can win. And that is why we have the WIN committee providing us with a network where we can showcase everything that we have. Thank you very much again, Port Harcourt section, for giving me the opportunity to speak as the chair of the Women Leadership Committee of the SPE Nigeria Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Amina. That was a very good insight on the activities of WIN in Nigeria, and also for challenging us on how we can continue to build a brand. So thank you very much. So we want to first of all apologize for the seeming flickering of the screen. For some reason, I don't know what, we seem to be struggling with that, but I know that our ladies who are behind the scene working assiduously to get this right will put that on the check. So don't worry, Madam Amina, you will not have those instances where one of your kids will be saying that your mommy is not a real engineer. We've got real engineers manning the system right now, so we'll fix that. So thank you very much. All right, so without further ado, we will just quickly move on to introducing the moderator for the panel session. Sorry, just before we begin the panel session, we'll have a brief speech by the keynote speaker. But who will be leading the panel session is Mrs. Muzan, Ella Muzan. She is a PT with SPDC, and she will be handling and driving this session. She has been an SPE member for quite a while now, and transitioned into a professional member with the Port Harcourt session, where she has functioned in various capacities. She is currently the secretary of the section, and also one time the YP chair for I think the last 2 board years. She's also won during her time as YP chair. They won the Best YP Section Award and SPE from the SPE Nigeria Council. She's also currently the YP subcommittee chair for the SPE Nigerian Council. She's an amiable lady, married, and a mother to an adorable son. So, Madam Ella, I will hand over to you at this point. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tambari, and thanks to the wonderful WIN team of SPE Port Harcourt section. I can feel the excitement. I think we're gearing up for a very exciting event. It's a very important topic. We've heard from the speakers, from Madam Amina, from the section chair. So I can't wait for all that will unfold. And it's my pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me. We'll go right into the keynote speech, and we have the beautiful and delectable Dr. Rita Esri Okorafor, who will be taking the keynote address, and I'll just introduce Dr. Rita briefly. Dr. Rita is a postdoctoral scholar at Stanford University, Stanford Center for Carbon Storage, before embarking on a PhD at Stanford University's Energy Resource Engineering Department, where she investigated optimal ways of harnessing enhanced geothermal systems. Dr. Okorafor was a principal reservoir engineer with Schlumberger. She garnered 13 years of oil and gas experience in several roles and locations. She's an avid SPE and geothermal rising volunteer. She's a recipient of the SPE Africa Region Reservoir Dynamics and Description Award in 2017, SPE International Young Member Outstanding Service Award in 2016, and SPE Africa Region Young Member Outstanding Service Award.
Dr. Rita started out her SPE journey as a student member of SPE Uniport chapter, holding the roles of secretary, vice president in different years. She later went on to serve in SPE section 103 board. So please to say she started in Port Harcourt section and she's back home before moving to Lagos, where she joined SPE section 61. She's passionate about mentorship and diversity, equity and inclusion. She's known for her excellent people and time management skills, and she's the author of 2 novels and is married with children. So Dr. Rita, thanks for being here, and we'll hand over to you for the keynote address.
All right, thank you very much, Ela. And it's my pleasure to be here speaking, being invited by the first section where I was a member, SPE Port Harcourt section. And if I would like to share my screen, so if people don't mind, you can stop sharing. Thank you very much. Okay, where is my screen? Okay, I'm going to be speaking today on building your brand, boosting your career, and I will be focusing on leveraging self-promotion to build your brand within and outside your organization. So I can tell you that we have an amazing set of panelists that would cover all or as much of the topics related to building your brand and boosting your career. But I just want to focus on self-promotion to start the discussion. As part of my personal branding, I would like to mention that I was the first female principal reservoir engineer from Africa in Schlumberger. I was the founding co-chair of SPE Women in Energy, which is now the SPE Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee. And I'm currently a postdoctoral scholar at Stanford University. So in the next 15 minutes, I will just start with a personal story. Then I will talk about self-promotion, what it is. I'll break it down, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because that in itself can take us 30 minutes. I'll talk about barriers to self-promotion, strategies to boost your brand, and key takeaways before we move on to the panel session. I want to say that Dr. Joe has already almost discussed my presentation in full with the example that he gave of the cleaner. And then Amina also came in to talk about things that are also in my slides. So you can just imagine that everything is just centered about branding yourself, promoting yourself, and letting people know, who you really are. So I'm going to start with a personal story. When I joined Schlumberger, 1 or 2, 3 years into being in Schlumberger, I was very good at my job. My boss was going to leave to do his master's, MBA rather, and they needed a new team lead for the team. I was the only one working with him, so I had all the experience on the know-how. And so all I should have done was just take over the leadership of the team. They bring new people whom I could train. But that wasn't the case. They invited somebody within the company who didn't have an idea of what we did in our team. We went for a meeting. And then in this meeting, which we normally have, each of the small segments will talk about what they are doing. So when it reached my own team, this lady who doesn't even know what we do started talking about, so we've done this number of jobs, we've met this number of clients, we've done this, we've done that. And I was like, but I'm the one that did all of this. And so at the end of the day, she was pronounced the leader of that team. And when I met my boss before he was gone, I said, how come somebody who doesn't know the work is made the leader of the team? And me that has been here for 3 years doing this whole work, I wasn't made the team lead. He said, well, you were in the meeting. They asked you people what you people did. You couldn't say anything. But somebody who doesn't know the work is able to say what you people did. So it's all well and good. She will be the one to take on the leadership of the team. So what did he tell me? He told me that my career was in my hands. If I wanted to be that leader, I had to, do what I needed to do, what was right to become the leader. I had to be very deliberate and strategic about my actions and decisions. And if I was going to promote myself for the things that I did, because I was the one that actually did the job, it wasn't going to be considered bragging, because I was being truthful and I was saying exactly what I did. So these lessons from that incident in my career kind of changed my thought and approach to how I was going to view things in the company. And in fact, somebody came and met me one day and said, look, you know a lot of things, you have a lot of technical competence, but you don't know how to sell yourself. People need to know that you're doing what you're doing in order for them to recognize you. And so that was a very life-changing decision. And for me to realize that, look, I wasn't bragging if I said that I did something, but it was just telling my story in a humble way for people to know and put myself out there. So what is self-promotion? Don't be daunted by what is all these things in the screen. Self-promotion is, just talking about yourself. And we have what we call the internal self-promotion and external. Internal self-promotion is what you do within your organization where you work, while external is what you do outside on social media, volunteering, etc. It could be intentional or unintentional in both cases. And intentional is when you make efforts to promote yourself. You do a job, you talk about it, you sell it. Unintentional is allowing other people do it for you or just not doing it yourself. So which is being reluctant where other people do it for you, or unengaged where you don't do it at all. You can be intentional, but you could be active, which means you're very deliberate about what you're doing, or reluctant, meaning that you wait for certain situations. Maybe it's time for promotion. That is when you begin to sell yourself. Okay, and the same kind of thing happens in the external part of things. The goal is for us to be intentional and active, both internally and externally. And all these things, you can find details about it on the LinkedIn page of Chrissy Anderson. The most important thing I want you to take out of this particular slide is that if you're able to promote yourself externally, it's going to have a very huge impact on your internal promotion, but the reverse is not true. So if you decide that you want to develop yourself and promote yourself externally, it will help you internally. Internal is also good for what goes on inside, but this is the relationship between the two. So what are the barriers to self-promotion? So on the top, I put things like being a minority, culture and upbringing and personality. These are things that are beyond your control. You can be the only female in a male-dominated workplace. You could have the culture and upbringing of don't talk about yourself, don't be proud about what you do, etc. And your personality, you might be an introvert and you just don't want to talk about what you do. Those are things beyond your control. However, there are other things that we do ourselves. It's doubting our abilities. So having that self-doubt and fear is a barrier to self-promotion. You're like, if I go out there and I talk about this thing, maybe it might be shunned, maybe it might not be good enough, or I'm not good enough. Similarly, awaiting perfection, meaning that you are looking for that stage where things are perfect, where this is the right moment for me to talk about these things that I have been doing. But awaiting perfection might be too late. And I want to tell you, people that are on this call today, don't always wait for that perfection. Just start afraid. Premature resignation is when you actually started, and because you didn't get the kind of results you wanted, you just decided to quit. But you see, the thing with self-promotion, and you can ask anybody who has a brand, it always starts from little beginnings. So you don't discount those little beginnings, those beginning times. Just keep pushing. Don't resign prematurely, because you will eventually reap the fruit of your patience. So what are the strategies to boost your brand as a professional? So at the top here, I list things that are general. There's a saying by Aristotle that you should know yourself. Carry out perform a self-evaluation to really understand yourself. And I highlight it in yellow because I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Identify your long-term goal. What are you trying to achieve? What are your aspirations? So if you now say you want to be the MD of your company someday, it's your long-term goal. So you need to identify, because that is going to help you to build the short-term goals that will take you to reach there and how you want to brand yourself. Collaborate with your weakness. So after you've performed your self-evaluation, you will find out that there are some areas that you are weak. If you cannot immediately do things to cover up for your weakness, collaborate, which means that if you're someone who doesn't really like to talk about yourself, but you have a friend that knows how to talk about herself or other people, collaborate with her. When you do something with her, let her do the selling and the sharing on social media, and then you just like and comment. Get a mentor. Mentors are people that will guide you, will direct you, and will tell you when what you're doing is right, what you're doing is wrong. And I can tell that I have benefited greatly from mentors because they help to strategize. And then here I put protect your reputation. If you want to build a solid brand, you don't want that brand to be impacted by something related to integrity issues or bad reputation. And especially if it's for women, women are quite vulnerable or are more impacted by things like sexual harassment, etc. You don't want to be vulnerable to those kind of things and impact your reputation. Tomorrow, you want to become the MD of your company and everybody will be looking at you like, oh, this one that was dating XYZ in the company, that is how she got there. You want to be sure that when you're getting to that top or when you build your brand, people see you as somebody that they cannot taint your reputation. Now, what happens within your organization if you want to build your brand and just boost your brand? Take on projects that nobody else wants to do. When you take on those projects, one of the key things to do is that you have understood your strength area and you're going to use that to make your strengths to shine. Because that way, people are now going to say, oh, this person, she presents very well, or this person writes reports very well, or this person knows how to do financial analysis very well. So you use certain things that people don't want to do, use it to bring out your strengths. Know your boss's goal and help your boss achieve their goals. So for me, I just feel that helping my boss to achieve and exceed their goal is a way of even branding myself. Because when my boss goes, even if he or she never mentions that I did anything. So for the fact that that person is doing good, that person is going to give me a good appraisal. And a good appraisal goes a very long way. And some good bosses will say, this thing, I cannot do this thing without XYZ person. I'm going for this meeting, I'm going with this person. They'll say this is your 2IC. No problem. But help your boss to achieve their goals and you'll be able to brand yourself. When you attend meetings, speak up and engage. By speaking up, it's not that you speak randomly, speak with thought. Even if you're going to rephrase a question or to ask a clarifying question, at least your voice is heard. And it helps you to build your confidence. And if you're in meeting settings, people are contributing, engage. So engage, ask questions, make your own contribution, no matter how small. I know that sometimes people are daunted when they feel that, okay, if I make this thing, make this contribution, it doesn't really make sense. I might be shut down. Just don't bother about it. Just make your voice heard. The more you begin to talk, the more you begin to build your confidence internally to help you to boost your brand within the organization. So externally, I would say volunteer in your area of strengths and even volunteer in your area of weakness so that you can develop, your weaknesses. And also volunteer in your area of your aspirations. So if you're looking to become something like an MD, so this is building of leadership positions. So you look for positions that you can volunteer that will help to build those skills for you. Because when you want to begin to put your portfolio together, you have to show examples of service, and those service should highlight that you have these skills internally and externally for this role that you want to go towards. Leverage social media to brand yourself. Now, these days we are in a very, very social media heavy period. So you cannot shut yourself off the world of social media. You want people to see you and to be able to associate you with something. I cannot begin to tell you how, just something that I will post would make somebody to contact me for more information or to create some opportunities. So please use social media to brand yourself. We have social media experts on the panel, so I'm sure they will talk a lot about that. So in terms of evaluation, you talk about your strengths, weakness, opportunity, and threats. And I've just talked about how you can leverage your strengths in certain areas in volunteering within the organization. Look out for opportunities where you can apply those your strengths. And when you identify your weaknesses, collaborate with people, or you build on them if you need training for that. But also identify your threats and what are the things that are hindrances to your goals so that you know how to avoid them. And once you have done that, it helps you to build your goal. Now, I'm being deliberate here by just saying, put your long-term goals before your short-term goals, because your long-term goals are going to help you to know where you're going to, and then your strategy is now what involves your short-term goals to achieve this long-term goal you're going for. Goals can change with time and circumstances, so do not hit yourself or blame yourself if you do not achieve certain goals. They evolve as you mature, they evolve as certain things happen or as opportunities change. So just put that in mind, and that is why you need to carry out this periodic self-evaluation. So leveraging social media to brand yourself. So on this place, I have your profile, your contact, and your activity. So in terms of your profile, if you're on LinkedIn, for instance, which is a professional place for putting yourself and branding yourself, make sure your profile has a catchy headline, highlights who you are as a professional, and depict those skills and duties that will make you stand out. So when people go to your profile, they could be able to see something that is different about you from every other person. Now, you don't want to just be on social media and be dormant. You want to be able to create content. So create content that is consistent with your brand, which means if you're actually into leadership, then all the things you want to talk about should be related to leadership. Then the other thing is to develop competence in your brand focus. And that example that Dr. Joe mentioned about the cleaner, who has, she has this groundnut business, but she needs to be able to build some competence that will help her with marketing, help her with branding herself. So you need to build competence. And, just do it afraid. If it's a particular area, it could just be the new energy aspect of things. You begin to read about it, do studies. You don't have to be perfect when you begin to brand yourself that you're an expert in that area. That expertise will come. Now, if you see other people's content that is related to the brand that you're interested in, share their content and put your own comments. For the fact that you're able to synthesize what they have written and make your own contribution, it also helps people to know you as a thought leader in that area or somebody that has expertise. So you don't have to rely on yourself very often for content. In terms of your activity, I know that it can be very, very time demanding for some people, especially women, mothers. You have just so many things on your plate to deal with. Choose a time that works for you. It could be once a week, it could be once every 2 weeks. But if people know that something is going to be coming from you consistently, that's when you improve your followership and people begin to, they just see you as this is somebody when we want information of a certain kind, they will reach out for you. Then I would say promote others as a means of self-promotion. So sometimes when you begin to promote other people, and in fact, after this panel session, the first assignment I have for all of you is whatever thing you have learned from this discussion, just promote it on social media. This is what we've learned. This is what I plan to do. Just put it out there. When you promote other people like that, you tag them, they will also do that favor in return for you. And that is how they begin to help you to brand yourself. So use other people as a means of promoting yourselves. And then your adjectives. So now the problem with branding has to do with English. You need to use very selective words that would help to position yourself. So please use adjectives to your advantage. And I'm just going to show you here an example of somebody who is a petroleum engineer seeking opportunities in alternative sources of energy. This is the profile the person wants to put on LinkedIn. However, this person can describe herself as a first-class petroleum engineer. I've put in bracket, brilliant, dynamic, adept, skilled, exceptional. Just adding an adjective changes the way people are going to view that person. Then you have aspiring energy industry CEO or something. You are aspiring. It's okay to aspire. so that people know that this is the direction you're going to. And when they do a search, oh, we're looking for industry leader, your name will pop up, and they can contact you for opportunities. So I'm just giving other examples. So this person is interested in alternative sources of energy. She could just put renewable energy professional, because this is going to help in the search. You can put things like award-winning young professional leader. We saw Ila's profile. Ila is an award-winning professional. We need to know that she's an award-winning professional when we go to her profile, because it says something about her. So if you are an award-winning somebody, we need to know, because it says that you are somebody that has some certain skills, dedication, leadership, consistency. It speaks volumes about you. So this is how you brand yourself. And I'm just using LinkedIn as an example. Now, if you are already arrived at where you are, CEO of your company, put it there. The moment you put CEO, it is a brand by itself. Everybody understands what a CEO is, and then you get, that requisite respect for being that CEO. But when you're not yet there, please use those adjectives that will help to pull you out where you're trying to go to. So benefits of self-promotion: you develop a very important leadership skill, which is about, inspiring other people. And this is a skill that is really in depth. Not many people lack it. So when they want to consider you as a leader, they begin to understand that you know how to do self-promotion. And it is a major consideration as you as you're being promoted. You open up a world of opportunities for yourself. And like I said, I know people who have called me to do jobs for them, to do teaching for them, just by seeing the kind of content that I put on LinkedIn. So this is how you begin to open opportunities for yourself. You build up your confidence and your other soft skills. So when you start, you may not have the confidence. You may not have the followership. You may not have all the things you want, but the consistency helps you to build that confidence. Just public speaking skills, you can learn it just by continually branding yourself, putting yourself out there. And then you fill your brand with visibility and credibility when you self-promote. So if you now say you are an aspiring CEO and you talk a lot about leadership topics, people will begin to see that, okay, you're building your visibility and credibility. You know what you're talking about. When you share content related to leadership, when you write about leadership, they know that you know what you're talking about. And this helps you to build your credibility. So as we wrap up, I would just say key takeaways, and I'm starting from the bottom. Understand yourself. This will help you to create that niche that makes you unique and different from every other person. You don't want to be branding yourself where everybody is. Understand who you are, where you're going, so that you know what your niche is and focus on that area. The second thing is to articulate your goals. By defining your long-term goals and your short-term goals, it helps you to develop your strategy. Then thirdly, I would say do you, and do you afraid. You don't have to wait for perfection, just do you. And you may not see the results you want on time, but just persevere. You are on a journey. And then leverage others for content, for competence, and mentorship, because that way you begin to bring out your true brand, it emerges, and then you can get to where you want to go to internally and externally to boost your career. So thank you all very much for listening. And I think we could take it on to the next level. Thank you.
Wow, thanks a lot, Dr. Rita, for that enlightening keynote address. I think right from the onset, you hit the ball rolling when you talked about self-promotion. I mean, you already just had us with our ears off, because that is already something that a lot of females in the industry and even across industries face. It's something that as females we're challenged. How do I promote myself? I want to be humble. I don't want to brag. And you've just hit it on the nail on the head. So thanks for that enlightening keynote address. You touched on so many things, especially around the barriers to self-promotion. And I think as we go into the panel session, we will dissect more and get more information, do more deep dive. What are those barriers and really how can we overcome? You've talked about some strategies and you've already given us some tools, especially social media. I can see a comment there that you cannot overlook social media in this era that we are in. So thanks, Dr. Rita, for giving us those valuable tips. You've given us homework. So I hope that as many of us here can do that homework and we begin our drive towards personal branding. So thank you for that address. We'll go right ahead to our panel, and I'll take a few minutes to introduce our panelists. We have 3 panelists, and Dr. Rita will also be joining the panel. I'll start with Madam Amina Danmadami. I hope that's what we have on the screen. Yes, so Amina Danmadami is a chemical engineer with the Department of Petroleum Resources. She has 2 decades of cognate experience in banking and engineering. She started her career as a banker, then moved to join the Department of Petroleum Resources, the regulatory arm of the Nigerian petroleum sector. She's the chairperson, Society of Petroleum Engineers, Abuja section, member of SPE Nigeria Council, and chair of the Women Leadership Program Subcommittee of SPE. Amina loves solving puzzles, she loves mentoring, and is actively involved in encouraging students into STEM through the SPE Energy for Me program. Madam Amina, thank you. We've seen you before, so I believe you're here with us. Thank you for always supporting Port Harcourt section. Our next panelist is our own section director, he for she, as we say, Engineer Adebola Bada. He's an outstanding HSC professional who is currently Operations Safety Lead for Total Energies EP Nigeria in engineering, construction, and project disciplines. He has about 25 years continuous experience in the oil and gas upstream business, with 6 of those years working with Exxon in his earlier career. He's worked in multidisciplinary teams in different upstream projects in several countries in 3 continents. He's a senior member of SPE with 22 years continuous membership and has participated in SPE activities around the world. He's won various awards, including SPE regional and international and other professional organizations awards. Besides SPE, he's also a member of various professional organizations, including being a fellow of the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, ISPON, among others. He's a director of the SPE Port Harcourt section and section chair of the SPE, and was the section chair in the 2020-2021 board year when we won the SPI Presidential Award. He's currently the SPE National Council OLEF chair, and is an avid volunteer for SPE International in different roles. He's a passionate advocate of boy and girl child education, and he's volunteered in several SDG awareness programs. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering in Petroleum Engineering from the University of Port Harcourt and master's degree from Loughborough University, UK. Adebola is married with children. Thank you, Engineer Bada, for honoring our invitation, and we look forward to your thoughts on this panel. And then we have Karika Yoreme. Karika oversees the development and execution of entrepreneurship programs focused on ensuring inclusive growth for African entrepreneurs. She's responsible for driving Softcom's flagship business accelerator program called LIFT, focused on delivering knowledge, coaching, technology tools, and funding to scale African businesses. Prior to now, Karika worked in a global energy company where she leveraged her expertise in business development, leadership, and project management to drive multi-million-dollar projects across 4 continents. She's worked with multiple international organizations to champion socio-economic change by leveraging technology to promote networking and business relations. She's also partnered with organizations such as the World Economic Forum Global Shapers, SAWIL, financial institutions, among several others, to deliver keynote speeches, mentor and educate over 20,000 entrepreneurs in areas of capacity development and personal branding for business growth. Her proven success in leadership, strategy, and human capital development has enabled her to serve in various advisory capacities across indigenous and multinational institutions in Africa, and including the country director for SAWIL Nigeria. Karika, if you can hear us, I'd like to, if you could come on video. So thanks for being here. Karika is a personal branding coach, and we're delighted to have you. It's an honor to have you here. Okay, so if our panelists can just come on video so we can see you and know that you are here with us. Again, thanks for being here. And we'll just kick off this panel, doing a deep dive into our theme for today, building your brand while navigating your career. Okay, I see Dr. Rita, I see Madam Amina. All right, thank you. So I'll just start with Karika, and I want you to set the ball rolling. Dr. Rita touched on it, but let's go back and let's talk about why personal branding is important, especially for women. Why do I need to have a personal brand?
Thank you very much,
Ella,
for the introduction. Before I answer, I promised Dr. Rita that I was going to hail her. We had a chat yesterday and I said, see, I'm hailing you first before I say anything else. So yay, it was a very fantastic presentation. I loved every aspect of it. And I feel like everyone should really connect with everything you have said. So yeah, go Rita.
Thank you. You won.
I told you I was going to do this, you know. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for having me here, right? And Ella, to your question, why should women have personal brands, right? I tell people that for everything you do, understand the context of the world that you live in, right? And I like the fact that Dr. Rita started with a story of how, you know, her not promoting herself, how not putting out there, you know, was critical, you know, helping her miss, you know, some sort of promotion, right? So understand the context of the world you are in. I tell people, do you want to succeed or do you not succeed? It's not compulsory, right? And if you want to, personal branding is critical. People need to know who you are. People need to know what you're doing. We live in a world that is extremely superficial. People have zero attention span. I mean, once you start talking, after like 5 seconds, people are like, okay, can you get straight to the point? So it's important if you want to succeed as a woman, if you want to succeed in any, you know, it's even beyond oil and gas. If you want to succeed anywhere, you need to understand that personal branding is a key critical point to succeed in the context, you know, of the corporate world. So I encourage every woman here, every man here, everyone here to build their personal brand and be strategic about it. Thank you.
Thanks for that. So it's very important. I think you said it all. It's very critical. It's important that we build our personal brand. And Dr. Madam Amina, so I'll come to you. And I like that in your opening, you already mentioned some of the things. And you mentioned some of the things. In fact, you put it in our hands and you said it's up to you, right? That you've broken all the myths. You became a myth buster, right? And you showed us that all those myths do not exist. And you began to paint some of those pictures of what the barriers, the imposter syndrome, and the biases that we see in the industry and in the workplace. So maybe if you could just talk a little about that. And when you say it's in our hands, what really is that? I know Dr. Rita also talked about some of the tools, but if you could just talk a bit more about those barriers and how we can begin to take steps as individuals.
Okay, thank you very much. Karika, that was a very nice submission you made. Yeah, and Rita, please, I'm going to ask you for your slides after this program. I'm going to go and study it, and then we'll do my CV. And you know, you promised me that. By the way, Rita is my mentor. So regarding the question I was asked about, it's about, you know, owning your career, owning everything you have, you know, making the most of what you have. For example, as women, generally, when you work in the office, I mean, it's not like it's done deliberately or so, it's just unconscious bias. When there's an opening for, okay, who is going to take the minutes? Secretary, who is going to do secretary? Naturally, everybody will turn and look at the women in the room and point at one, okay, you take the minutes. That one is, you know, we all know that. Same with, okay, if there's going to be a meeting or there's going to be, we're going to organize some program, the catering will naturally go to the women. You know, in SPE, that doesn't always happen because Tope is the chair for that now in SPE Nigeria Council, you know, but I mean, generally that is what happens. So what you do is when you're giving, you know, so you have two choices. It's either you say, why now? Okay, because I'm a woman, you want to, okay, I will cook, or because I'm a woman, it's me that will take me. No, use it for, like for me, for example, that secretary was what helped me in my career. My boss is here, I was his TA, the Zonal Operations Controller of Abuja Zonal Office of DPR. So how did I get there? When we first came into, well, shortly after, not long after we joined DPR, we usually have monthly meetings amongst all the field offices in the zonal office. So, so each field office will host the meeting, and then a secretary will be picked from the field office. So the person who was supposed to take minutes when it was Abuja's turn was not around. And of course, they said, okay. Then someone was like, but she's new, you know, when did she even join? What does she even know? So, but there's nobody else. Okay, take. Then the other organ now said, but he now called a man's name. I said, okay, but oversee and make sure she does it well and all of that. So I sat down, I took the minutes, I did everything. And after the meeting, I put together the minutes. I always have mentors wherever I am. I went, met one of the bosses, he read through, made some corrections, put everything well, everything. And then you package it and send it to headquarters with all the applications that we have processed. So the next month, when we were doing the meeting, during the meeting, one of the ogas from Lagos, from headquarters, now was asking that, who is Amina? Hey, my heart caught. I said, okay, you don't have my own, don't finish. So he said I should stand up. I now stood up and he carried the minute. That was the first minute I wrote in DPR. He carried the minute and was holding that in his entire, not career, but throughout, for that particular thing we do, he has never seen minutes so concise, put together, everything, all the dots, I's were dotted, the T's were crossed, everything. I put line, that he has never seen minutes like this, that they should clap for me. They clap. Yeah, I was just shaking. I was very embarrassed. The shy Hausa girl I've always been. I know I didn't like the attention, but but that was what did it for me. From there, I became Secretary General, and I hope I become SG of OPEC, by the way. Every meeting, Secretary, Amina will take the minutes. So before there was no TA's office in DPR, so we now had a boss who came in from headquarters to head Abuja zonal office. And he now said he wanted to have TAs to work with him because he wanted all applications to go through TAs to vet them so that it reduces his work for him. So he needed 2 strong people to work with him. Of course, my name featured, a man's name, and the second name was mine. I don't know which. In fact, they called me first before they even called the man, actually. Let me not be too humble here, So, and that's how it happened. By the time he retired, he was leaving. When the next person came, he handed me over. By the time he was leaving, when Alhaji Abba, who is here now, came, they handed me to him. When Alhaji Abba was leaving, he handed, it became like, once a zonal controller comes, Amina is TA. I have served all of them so what am I saying? When you're given a task, don't, just take it and do your best. And I never knew I could write until I was given that. In secondary school, I dabbled with press club. I was press club secretary. I was that. And see how it now came back to work in my favor. So never ever say no to, because sometimes it's those things that will bring you to the table for discussion, so that's what I will say, that you should always be humble. You should do your best whenever you're given a chance. Read up, because I read up on how to write minutes, how to do, and I walked through mentors to support me and guide me. So I would say those are the key things that anyone wanting to build a brand should do. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Amina. You've given us some very key points there: owning your strengths and taking up tasks And you've talked about even little tasks, but at the end of the day, it's how you do it. You do it well, and that's what projects you. And I think from this session, we're learning not to be overly humble. So they call your name, you do a good work, stand up and receive your glory, right? Okay, so I'll come to Engineer Badan now. You've worked with women, and as a he for she, you've seen some of these experiences that women have made in trying to in their careers, right, that have helped or they have limited them in building their personal brand. We've talked about shyness, we've talked about being overly humble. What are some of the other things that in your experience or you've seen with women that are barriers to building our personal brands?
Okay, so thank you very much, Moderator. Eli, can you hear me very well?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so thank you very much. So speaking about barrier, I would just first say thank you to Dr. Rita. I caught some points that are just part of the things I would also like to talk about. You mentioned about putting yourself forward, which is very, very key. You mentioned about being intentional about what you want. You also mentioned about having a mentor, which is key. And then the last one is volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. And this is the only way we can improve. So those 4 points from you are very, very good. So thank you. And to the co-panelists, I've heard what you've said. So basically, I've been working with women, as you know, and in the council now, when they are now saying a women committee, dragged by the end. So it's not that it came that way. It's just part of the branding I've been giving myself for a long time that I've been working on. So a lot of books, a lot of things that I've been reading, the videos, just to understand the perspectives of this inequality we're talking about. So what's the issue? And I've, looked at the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals on women, and a lot of presentations people have made. But for me, at the end of the day, it comes to one thing for me. I say, we are guys and ladies, we are built differently. Let's be sincere with that. We need to really understand certain things. We are built differently. But the purpose that we come to manifest lies in your hands. So the build does not mean this one will be successful than this. So it's a lie. So everyone can come out successful as they want, irrespective of a man, irrespective of a woman. It doesn't matter. The only difference is that, okay, you can be able to carry 200 kg of cement. Okay, fine for you because you are a guy, you have the muscle. But maybe the lady can use some personal skills to also carry same without even handling it. So there are many ways in which you can do things. So it's not actually, because I'm the one that have the muscle. So talking about this, I would, just before I go straight into the barriers, I would like to talk. There's a quick story because when you are hearing about branding, remember we are just talking about image in another term. So just have it. Image is very, very key, even in the industry. So when I was in ExxonMobil as a production engineer in my earlier career, I have a boss that is a very smart guy, okay? And then he told me that he's leaving that he will be in ExxonMobil for only 5 years. And I said, okay, well, I don't understand then what he was saying. But this guy already had his plans for like 50 years. I don't know if you Google it, you can say 100-year plan is there. You can actually do an 100-year plan, not only for your generation, you can do for your generations to come. And you start working towards it. So he has a plan and he starts showing me. I don't understand him then. And I can tell you, this guy, if you know ExxonMobil very well, this guy did like ECPE project, he did the OSO project, all these projects. And 5 years on dot, he left for the US to do his master's and do his PhD. And today, in the LNG world, this guy has so much patents. In fact, when there was also fire, in ExxonMobil, they have to call this guy. It's not, they have to call him as a consultant, because he knows everything there like the back of his hands. So what we are saying is that it's not just you want to create a value, or you want to create an identity for yourself, or you want to create some goals for yourself, or you want to personal brand yourself. Honestly, you have to know what you are doing. You need to do some work. It's work. So it's beyond all this talk we are talking. We need to put in the work also. So I just want to put that in perspective. So now delving into the issue of the barriers for our ladies, it is not too different. Honestly, when I'm speaking about this, I'm also speaking about the guys. It's the same. Okay, I also belong to an organization that we are looking towards the guys also. We have seen that we are talking more about the women, but we are leaving behind the guys. And now we gradually seeing that the guys also are not, they don't know what is going on. So when they get married, the ladies are sharp, better, they know many stuff than the guys. And then the guy is the head of the home, okay, and then, but he doesn't really know how to carry along the family, how to progress the family, you know? And then it's like he's waiting for the woman, but the woman is also saying, but you are the head of the house. So in things like this, we are working in that organization also to systematically upgrade our guys and to explain to them how to create value and how to become also a man. So what I will be saying briefly is about being ambitious. Okay, I have seen and I noticed that most ladies, they tend to be, and I think Dr. Rita said something about this. It's like, they're just like, okay, I don't want to be, you know, they will say, I'm too proud, I'm too ambitious. Sorry, you have to be ambitious. It's even good for you to be ambitious. So don't be laid back. Don't stay behind and say people are going to identify you and say, yeah, you are the person. No, no, no. You have to talk. You have to go for what you want. Nobody's going to be pampering you and bringing you as a leader. You have to put yourself out there. So I think being ambitious is one thing we really need to look at. Being proud is key. Arrogance is another thing. I don't like being arrogant, but we need to be proud of what we do. Section 103, we are an award-winning section. We are proud about it. You know, things like that. So be proud of who you are. So no one is going to sell your market for you, honestly speaking. You have to sell your market. It's like that. So it is very also important for our ladies to be open to criticism. I have seen when I push many ladies, during my tenure, you know, we have about more than 50% ladies in the board, and also the election we did for this present one, I think it's about more than 50 again. Purposely, we try to sponsor the ladies and say, hey, we know you can do this. Or they know, I don't want some people to come and be talking to me, I'm a married person, you know. No, we know, because the guys that are also doing it, they are criticizing them. So they have not said that, hey, I'm a married man, I don't want you to. No, they put themselves out there. You can criticize as much as you want, but if you don't want to be criticized, you are not going to get an image for yourself. You are not going to be known. Nobody's knowing who you are. So you need to be criticized because you are going to make mistakes. So don't think you are not going to make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes, but you need to learn from that mistakes. And that's how you grow. And then you're not going to do that kind of mistakes and you're growing. So it's very important to leave ourselves out there to be criticized. Positive criticism. So this is very, very key. And we have to understand that we are not perfect. We are not perfect. I know the ladies are always like saying, they are very careful, you know, ladies are very careful because they don't want to make any mistakes, but we must make mistakes because we are not perfect. Okay, so I feel these are one of the few barriers that ladies need to work on and put themselves out there. So naturally, we know ladies also are very emotional. But you know, when they interview you for a job, they will ask you what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. So I always train people. For people I trained for interviews, so many, I will say, look, tell them this is your strength, it's fine. But whatever weakness you are going to talk about, have a backup plan and how you want to mitigate it. Say, yeah, I think I work too much. I feel I'm a workaholic. That's my weakness. But you know, I'm trying as much as possible also to do some sports just to recover. But you see, because you say you're a workaholic, they know how this guy is going to come to work for us. So it's actually a weakness for you, but it's not a weakness for them. You see, so the way you present things is different. So being emotional, you can bring your emotional part into a positive side at work or in business. So ensure you bring it in the positive. So being emotional does not mean something happens and then you are crying or you are shying away or you just want to run away. No, you have to face it. So we are finally, for the barrier, we need to learn to adapt as much as possible. So adaptability is very key to upgrade and to rescue us from this barrier of facing our ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Bada. You've touched again on some very key points, and I see the chat's buzzing. Some people have picked up some key things from there, being ambitious, and we've related our brands to our image. And also, as Rita had talked about, speaking up and engaged and owning yourself, selling your market and things like that. So key things that will be taken out from this session. I want to then encourage all the participants. I see some people are using the chat box, which is what we encourage. So please put in, as we've said, C for comments, Q for questions. So put in comments that resonate with you and questions that you have for our panelists. We have some time dedicated to questions as we go along, but if I see some questions to post to the panelists, I will also take them. So thanks, let's keep engaging and be interactive. So I have a question for Karika and Dr. Rita. And we have a lot of young ladies and even young in their careers and even people in middle management and things like that. And one of the things that people struggle with is how to really define your personal brand. What is my personal brand? And I see from your profiles that both of you have sort of transitioned in your careers and building what your brand is and your images. So if you could share some of those pivotal moments in your career that enabled you to define and get clarity as to what my brand is, because some people are still struggling and some people don't have that clarity or that definition of what their brand is. So if you could share, how did that happen for you, that you began to say, okay, this is who I am and this is what I need to project to people to know? Okay, so Karika, you can go first. No, we can't hear you. I see you're talking, but we can't hear you. Simeon, can you try to unmute her?
Okay, thank you. Okay. I could not unmute myself. Okay, thank you everyone. Very fantastic points, right? I like to think of myself as a teacher. And in teaching, right, I like to start from the roots, right? The very first thing in building your brand, in doing anything, is understanding that you are the value. Understanding that you are the value. And everyone here, I want everyone here to understand that I am valuable, I'm powerful, I am enough. Because until you do that, I promise you, we'll give you all the strategies here and nothing is going to move. So understand that you are the value. Understand that, you know, Aminat, I don't know, Dr. Aminat, I think you talked about it. You know, you talked about imposter syndrome. One of the reasons why women core when imposter syndrome comes is because they struggle with their value. I am the value, I am powerful, I'm enough. And let me tell you what that does to you. Whenever you step into a room, whenever you're given a task, I like the example that she talked about. It was someone would have seen that and say, oh, why are you trying to make me a secretary? But guess what? She turned it to her advantage. She was like, you want to see secretary work? You want to see someone that can take minutes? Hold on, let me show you. And you know, it was very concise, it was powerful, it was excellent, such that that act in itself leverage her for other opportunities. So understand that you are the value. Whatever you touch is valuable. Whenever you ask a question, value is speaking. Understand that. It would help you to negotiate for deals. It would help you to, you know, and for me, I have transitioned. I was in oil and gas, I have transitioned to tech now, you know, and you know, I advise for multiple industries. One of the things, when they say, Karika, what's your qualification? I'm valuable. I can give you value. I would give you insights, whatever the context of your industry is, I am valuable. And I want everyone to work in that, because that's the first step in building your brand. Because if you do not, let me tell you, comparison will kill you if you do not understand that. You will continue looking at what other people are doing. I think Amina talked about owning your niche, right? Owning your narrative. So comparison would finish you. So number one, you are valuable. Number two, own your narrative. You are who you are. You are you. That's your superpower. Nobody is like you. So you need to ask yourself, go back to the drawing, but ask yourself, who exactly is Ella? Who exactly is Ibironke? Who exactly is Dorcas? What do I want to do? What Mr. Engineer Bada talked about the plan. I have a 14-page document for my life. Very, very detailed. What I want to do. And that helps me. It serves as a guide such that when I see new opportunities, I'm looking at it. Does it align? Is it in alignment with what I want to do? And even if it's not in alignment, okay, because again, truth is that you are here today. You don't know what the future. Nobody knew the opportunities COVID would bring, but it came with new opportunities. And I said, okay, I didn't foresee these opportunities. Is there a way I can add it to my 14-page document? So again, you need to be very intentional. So when you understand you have the value, when you understand that nobody's like you, you need to set a plan, right? Ask yourself, what are the things I can do? What are the things I want to do, right? And you also need to understand that in personal branding, there's something called times and seasons. Times and seasons. Whatever you are, wherever you are, do it well. That's the first thing in personal branding. Wherever you are, do it well. Because let me explain to you, your brand is built every day. It's not by going to LinkedIn and putting, that's a fantastic way. But let me tell you, the things you do every day, Engineer Bada talked about it, when you have your boss, if you're not doing excellent work, if you go on LinkedIn and write, I'm the most amazing person, there are people in real life that'll be like, how? So your brand is built every day. I said that your life is a stage. Everybody's watching you. And at the right time, they'll speak for or against you. So you need to be very intentional about what you do every day, how you show up to the office, how you do your work. I'm not talked about it. How you do your work, right? How you show up, how all of these things, your brand is built every day. So that's another thing. Take note of how you show up. Engineer Bada talked about image. The world is very visual. How you show up is how people will take you. People will never treat you better than you treat yourself. So your personal brand is built every day, right? And then now going into social media, I would also just leave so that Dr. Rita could raise answer also, but also going into social media, right? And that's where it becomes very strategic. And that's where what Dr. Engineer Bada talked about. Have a plan. Where are you right now? If you want to be the chief engineer lead, whatever, in the next 10 years, great, that's fantastic. But where are you right now? And how can you begin to use where you are to your advantage? What communities are you in? For everybody that is in SPE, fantastic. It's a great way to showcase your personal brand, right? And then when I'm here right now, what are the things I need to do between where I am and where I need to be? Is it education? Do I need to go back to school? Rita went to, she went back to school and right now she's a Stanford superstar, right? Do you need to go back to school? Do you need to be in some sort of associations, right? So those are some of the things, that you need. So again, wrapping things up, number one, you are the value. Never forget that, because life will challenge you. You would fail at projects. Things will happen to you. Not everything is going to go well, but you would, understand that I'm the value, I am enough, would give you that energy to go on. Number two, do not compare yourself, because that's you already failed if you start that. Do not compare yourself. Yes, it's okay to see what people are doing, but use what I tell myself, that whatever people are doing is data for me. So this was working now. Great. I used my advantage, right? I think it was Engineer Bada that talked about using your weakness and your strength to your advantage, right? So don't compare yourself. Instead, use it to your advantage. Number three, is also excellence. Wherever you are right now, what is in your hands? How do you showcase it? How do you do excellent work, right? And then, like I said, your brand is built every single day. And then the fourth one, being strategic. Where are you right now? What do you need to do? How can you maximize where you are right now? You are where you are. Who knows you? Have you talked about, have you even said hello to anybody here? Who knows you? Who knows what you're doing? So maximize where you are right now, and then think of the gap between where you are and where you want to go and plan for it, right? So yeah, those are the few points. I can talk about this for like hours, but I have to stop now.
I know. Thank you for that. So, Dr. Rita, I see the hailings, carry fire. In case you didn't know, we have carry fire in the house. So, thanks for that. Dr. Rita, over to you, please.
Look, after this, if you're not following her on social media, please go and follow her on social media so that you can understand how to brand yourself. The procedures, the strategy, everything is there. And how, just follow her. You will just be following her, you will learn a lot. So, Karika, did you leave anything for me to say? I don't think so. So, excuse me.
Okay, so we have a special guest joining us.
Yeah.
Dr. Rita, are you good, or should we go to the next and then we come back to you?
Okay, sorry. So
okay,
not sorry. It's part of the things that we go through.
Definitely,
right? Yeah. So so basically, what I would say, Karika has summarized it, but let me just say, know yourself, and this is a process that you do regularly. So for me, for instance, I had to understand in every job that I did I enjoy it? What did I like about it? And if I did not enjoy it, what did I not like about it? And I can give you an example. I was given a role where I had to be preparing training materials, teaching people, and just developing software kind of things. And this is not something that I was planning to do within the organization, but it just so happened that because my husband was transferred, I had to be transferred. They were looking for a job for me, so they just gave me that one. And I found out that by doing that thing, I was in my element. As I begin to teach, as I begin to prepare the materials, as I begin to develop the software, I was just enjoying myself. I was like, wow, this thing gives me joy. And for everybody, when you do what you call your career highs and lows, it's okay. It's okay to take a job you didn't like, because it tells you this is something about you that you just don't like. Maybe you don't like talking to people, or maybe you don't like analyzing data. Just doing everything works for a reason, right? So when you begin to understand what is your strength area, what is unique about you, what is special about you, then you begin to develop this niche. You're building an interest. Now look at what every other person is doing. You don't want to replicate what every other person is doing. Think about what you want to do for yourself. For young professionals, I would say, please don't put any pressure on yourself. You are on a journey. So you take time to understand yourself, understand what the journey is all about, understand what your aspirations are. So don't put yourself under any pressure, and just do it small by small. With time, you begin to build your brand. I had spent 13 years in the oil and gas industry before I realized that, look, the thing I really wanted to do had to do with academia. And because it's related to academia, there are certain things I need to do. I cannot just jump inside there. Okay, to get a PhD is what I need to go into academia. I'm going to get a PhD. Okay, so, but I had to understand, get to a point where I realized this is me, this is what I want to do, and then this is how I'm going to go about it. So don't put yourself under too much pressure. Just do it small by small. Spend more time understanding yourself, what makes you unique. Even go back to when you were very, very young, when you were not influenced by whether you had money or no money, those things you like to do. I'm telling you that out of here, some entrepreneurs can come out, and it could just be that it's a particular perfume they were making. You're a petroleum engineer, but it is perfume that is your thing. Or it is hairstyles, making wigs or something that is your thing. Find out who you are, what makes you tick, what you enjoy doing, and just use it to brand yourself. Now you can ask yourself, why would you do such a thing, maybe that is not really related to oil and gas, petroleum, your core work? Why should you be doing that? Why not? That's what gives you joy. That's what gives you fulfillment. But that can open opportunities for you even within your organization. Some people will say this person is able to combine XYZ thing. This person is able to bring value for us. This person is able to connect us to some customers or other people. So don't discount what your natural gifts and talents are. Focus on developing them, and you'll find out that you'll be able to build your brand, or use those your natural gifts and talents to build your brand in some areas. I have some people who are just very good in graphics, and all they do is just any information they see, they put it in graphical format. That is their branding. And everybody goes to their page to see their brand. They're just their snapshots. It doesn't matter what the content is, but because they can do graphics. So use what your skills are, your talents are, to build your own brand. And then you take it off from there. Thank you.
Thanks again, Dr. Rita. So developing your niche, and you've talked about, again, we've talked about using your strengths. So that has come up again. Thanks for that. And thanks for sharing that personal journey and that experience. I'll ask Madam Amina one final question before we take the questions from the audience. So Madam Amina, what comes to mind is, as we've talked about, you're trying to build your brand. Karika talked about how you show up. But what happens when that is threatened? When you're sending a message across, or when you're showing up in your organization in one way, you're trying to send a message, but people are looking at you or misinterpreting some of the things you say or some of the things you do. How do you try to navigate, or how do you turn the curve in such instances? Have you had any experience in that light, or is there something you want to share on that?
Wow, that's a tough one. This is who you are. This is how you come across. But people are different, Yeah. Like, I'll give you an example. In some places, I can't remember which country it is. If you give them something red, you're honoring them. But in another country, if you give them something red, you're insulting them. So things like that happen. And I think this is where emotional intelligence comes in, and even if people are maybe unkind to you, or they misjudge you or something, you see, there's always something about time will tell. Things always have a way of coming to bear, but you have to be patient while you're at it. You have to remain consistent. Don't try to change because people are thinking it is this. At the end of the day, the truth will always triumph over falsehood. It's just a matter of time. So you remain consistent in who you are. And but at the same time, you also do some soul searching. Is there something, because it's about emotional intelligence, really. Okay, is there anything I can do without changing myself or changing who I am or trying to be something else? But is there something I can do to make it better? You will find, some middle ground, and then there will be peace, because patience and peace, I think, are the most valuable things that you can have wherever you are. And it always works. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm a Muslim from the North. Northerners are generally very conservative. The story of how I even dabbled into engineering is a story for another day. I mean, it's not something your average Northern lady will dabble into. And then, of course, there's this issue of you're always in the midst of boys. That is another no-no for the average Northerner, And then on top of that, when you're in other cultures, shaking, hugging between mixed cultures is normal. But in our culture, it is a taboo, for you to be shaking and hugging, So now, finding a balance and trying to pass your message across without appearing rude, without embarrassing. Sometimes you just have to do a quick calculation. Okay, you're in a meeting, somebody passes his hand, he wants to shake you. You know that it is not right where you're coming from, but then you also think about the effect it will have on the person. In that kind of case, you could just, move your hand, then you do digital shaking, and everything. And there's peace. You didn't hurt his feelings, and, and things like that. There's also a personal experience I had there was this person I met, and, he asked for something and I was able to support him and all of that. And the next thing he was like, you must be a Christian, you must become a Christian, and everything. There are two ways to look at it. why are you trying to tell me to be mind your business? How is that your business? But the way I saw it was, he saw this as, he saw me as, okay, this is a good person. And I am a Christian because it is good. It is salvation and everything. And I would want it for her because she's a good person. So that's why, that was the thinking behind that utterance. So I worked on that part, and I was like, I smiled. I was like, okay, no problem. We'll have some discussion and everything, And I didn't take offense. In fact, I was honored because he was actually honoring me. But I know in some other people will see it, some extremists will see it, and why is he? And it would have, generated into an unnecessary issue. So when things like that, emotional intelligence, wisdom, patience will always see you through this kind of situations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think this key for me was remaining consistent and being patient. And you talk about emotional intelligence. We can spend 1 hour talking about emotional intelligence, but you've given us those very apt examples that just buttress the point and very key. So thank you, Madam Amina. I see some questions in the chat box, and I'll go ahead and take them. So thanks to our panelists for sharing these wonderful insights and these great nuggets. And if you're looking at the chat box, you can see that a lot of the things that have been said have resonated with the audience. So thank you for that. So the first question we had was referring to Engineer Bada when you talk about an interview. I think that was the first one. If you can just briefly share a tip, because we have a lot of students and young people here. How do you address the weakness of procrastination when you're in an interview setting?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I can actually brand myself as an expert in tutoring people about interviews. I have learned about this a long time. And in fact, when I was doing my own interview, I have drafted down 100 questions that they're going to ask me, honestly speaking. And every question they asked me were just within my 100 already. So when I'm tutoring people, I can tell you what they're going to ask. So basically what is important to companies is, who is this person? Okay, it's good to be brilliant, okay? It's very good to be smart. It's very good to be intelligent. But they are looking beyond this thing and looking at what's the value this person going to bring in. So if you have everything, but you cannot dish them out, it's another problem. If you have everything, you cannot. One of the panelists also mentioned about creating the value at work. So you can have everything, but at work, you are just doing the minimum you want to do. You are not putting it out there. It's a problem. So they are looking beyond your smartness. They are looking beyond your results. They are looking at a lot of things behind. So when they are now asking you about the strength and your weaknesses, it's a lot. Even doing a business plan, if you are doing any business in the UK or in the US, they will ask you to do a business plan. Maybe we'll do it in Nigeria, but we don't supervise it. But abroad, they supervise it a lot. You're going to write about your strength. You're going to write about your weaknesses of that business. You're going to write about the opportunities and the threat, because there's always a threat. That's a sword, okay? And the threat. So in looking at your opportunities, your threats, and of course, threats, maybe there will be a disaster. Okay, there's COVID, there's nothing you can do, but you can build mitigations around that. But the weakness part, for example, if you are saying, I'll take the example that you mentioned, if you are saying that you are a procrastinator, okay, being a procrastinator is not very good. But honestly speaking, go into YouTube. I have a lot of presentation myself on being a procrastinator because I procrastinate. But it's a big strength. That's what some people don't know. And if you procrastinate, it means people that can, if you say within an hour, they need something done. Those are the kind of people, because they can delay something. Delaying it does not mean they have not been working on it. They have been working on it, but they are perfectionists. So the problem with procrastinator, they are perfectionists. They don't see it as enough. It is not good enough. It is not good enough. They have been compiling it. So in the 9 minutes, when you ask them to come, they'll just pick all the best of what they have put together. And then when they are delivering, people will say, wow. But He has procrastinated for a long time, but he has been putting them together. So it really depends on how you put that weakness across. That is the key. It is not just I'm procrastinating, I don't do anything until that minute. No. You see, I work on so many things, but I try as much as possible to perfect it, and I don't finalize it. So you are procrastinating. But when it's time to finalize, it's very easy. You have too many materials, excellent materials. Okay, you pick the best. It's done. So I have so many things like that in mind. So if you just ask me anything, I just pick, and I'm done. So you work every time. That's what it means. Procrastinators, they work every time. So it's not that they just wait. So it really depends on how you pass your weaknesses across. Always bring it across in a very, very positive way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's great. That's a great answer. And I hope for the person that asked that question, I hope that has answered your question. And I think it has answered your question and even more. So thank you, Engineer Bada. And we can set up a consultation committee or interview tips and come to you. So thanks. And that's personal branding, actually. So you've showcased your brand and you've sold your market. So thanks for that. All right. So I see another question that talks about, what do you do when a male counterpart goes around spoiling your name and spreading false information about you because you refuse his advances, especially if he's your boss? I think that is related to what we talked earlier around when your brand is threatened. And I don't know if any of the panelists wants to just weigh in on that quickly. Madam Amina shared some great tips, but if any of the other panelists wants to drop a few points on that, that will help as well.
Okay, you mean I should say something about it?
You can, if you have some more to say. I know you touched on it earlier.
Oh, okay,
but if you have
fine.
to
Let
say
me
more.
wait for others to say something.
Okay.
I can come in quickly if you don't mind.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, a panelist also mentioned this. We need to pay attention. They have mentioned, look, people are going to say whatever they want to say. Okay, let them say. People they're entitled to their opinions, but the core value that you are protecting, be consistent about it. So people are going to talk about you. So in fact, they will lie about you. So they will lie. But that is not you. So why are you bothered about what people are saying? So one of the panelists also mentioned about we don't need to compare ourselves. So many things have been said there that is putting all these things across. Please, people are going to say a lot. In fact, when they stop talking about you, you are dead. I like people to talk about me. Honestly, talk positive, negative. It doesn't matter. What matters is me. How am I moving forward? What's the value I'm creating? Am I creating value? Continue to move forward. They will be talking. Those talk will even be enhancing your profile. You'll be having some views more. People are this guy they talk about. Let me see. So it is good. Let them talk, but please be consistent. Don't allow those things to distract you. That's the area you have to guard against. No distraction. Move forward. You are you.
Yes, thank you. I think one of the things they say, sorry, Karika, I wanted to add something. Okay, no, please go ahead. No, I was going to say,
I was gingered by what he said.
One of the things our celebrities normally say is no publicity is bad publicity. So for good or for bad, it increases your image and your publicity out there, and you're cashing your box. So it's something that we could also translate to ourselves. So be consistent, keep projecting your own positive image. People will talk, but keep being you. Karika, please add quickly.
Okay, fantastic. I think, what Engineer Bada said is really true. People will talk about you, it's left for you to use it to your own advantage. And also in this context, considering that this person is your boss, right? And, I would say be strategic. He talked about visibility, talked about being consistent. Your boss is not the only person you should be consistent with. Remember, I also said that your personal brand is built every day. Your personal brand is not only your work, right? So let me give you an example. You're in an organization, right? You have one direct boss, but you have people that are on your boss's level, right? Be kind. Hello, how are you? when you see them in the elevator, oh, fantastic, I like your show or something. It reminds me of when I was working. You sell your market everywhere, elevator, canteen, everywhere. You let people know what you're doing. Because when one person tries to do something bad to you, 1,001 people will stand up for you, because you have built your brand in different buckets, in different ways, right? So if you, and that's why, you know, everything Engineer Bada said, Amina said, Dr. Rita said, it's in your hands. So don't give one person that power over you. Do not empower people against you. Your boss is only one person. There are multiple people in your organizations. The reason why people believe your boss is because you've not built your brand. Nobody knows you. So they would believe the person they know who is your boss. So build your brand every day. Talk about your work. I tell women, have a brag sheet. The things you do, document it. You know, when you are talking, if you see me talking to somebody that is not my boss, I'll say, hi, hello. Oh, fantastic. This reminded me of a time when I was working short, concise, but I've already dropped the point that, hello, I have value. And if you're looking for someone to come and collect, come and take me for value. Do you understand? Your life is a market. You're selling per time, per minute, per time. So don't wait until, oh, it's only your boss that knows your work. You are setting up yourself for destruction. Like Engineer Bada said, be consistent. Don't be only consistent to your boss. With other people, be consistent, right? And I know that, see, at the end of the day, people speak up for you. People speak up for you. So focus on your focus, keep being consistent, you know, and do the work you need to do. That's all I have to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope we're all focusing on our focus. Thank you very much. So very great answer to that question. I see a question for Dr. Rita on her switch from oil and gas to a doctorate degree, and if she wanted something or if you found a passion. Dr. Rita, please permit me, for lack of time, I think you already touched on that question, because you talked about how you did some things and you found a new passion and you wanted to go into academia. So I hope that answers that question. What I would like you to answer then is another question that talks about, I need to enhance my communication skills, which will aid my brand. So could you advise on how we can enhance our communication skills?
Okay, so really communication is how you communicate what you do is very, very important, because somebody can do something and just say, oh, I did this job. Another person will come and say, I did this, I achieved this, I made this, I solved this problem. And remember, I said, use adjectives to your advantage. So everything needs to be qualified. I increased the performance. I brought in so value. And this communication will be in your CV. You will have your personal CV. You just have one general CV like that you keep, that if they call upon you tomorrow, it's ready with all those keywords: increase, expanded, grew, throw in adjectives. You also have what you call, when Karika was talking about selling your value, you should prepare one small elevator speech and cram it and keep. So that if you meet anybody any day, you have that speech ready with all your adjectives ready. It should not be more than 1 minute. You just have 60 seconds to sell your market. Write it out, keep it wherever you are. Talk about it. Anytime you see people talking about that thing you're interested in, put your mouth there. If it is on LinkedIn, if it's on Instagram, Facebook, if they're talking about it, talk, put your mouth there and put your own version. You're selling yourself. Now, communication skill is something you keep building, because as you see me so today, I present a lot, I talk a lot, but it wasn't the case before. I hated being in front of people. I even hated putting up slides to talk to people. But I found out that the more I do it, the more I get better, the more I build my skills. And the more I go and I read and I see what other people are doing, I try to implement, okay? So that is just something that you keep building with each passing day, with each moment. This is your communication skill. Know that it's in writing, it's in speaking, it's in presentation, and it's even in what you don't say. How, your body language as well in meetings and all of that is a way of communication. So nodding your head when people are talking, just makes you feel like you're understanding, you're part of it. It's a kind of verbal communication that you're doing. So just consider all of them and see how you can improve on each and every one of them at different stages of your career.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for that. Okay, so I have about 2 more questions, but I want to call on one of our section directors, Engineer Fagbami. And this is also because one of the reasons why we talk about this, the personal branding, is this is one of the things that will help us to grow into leadership positions, will help career advancement and progression. Engineer Fagbami is one of the leaders in our industry today. So I would like him to just share a few thoughts on this quickly because we're out of time, but I would just like to hear your voice in the room. And also if you could take the question on mentorship. So someone has asked, I hear the importance of mentorship, but it seems far away. And how do I become an attractive potential mentee? So Engineer Debo, are you there? Are you with us? Okay. Maybe
yeah,
not.
I'm actually with you.
Okay.
I'm with you, but
okay,
I'm
okay.
between, I'm multitasking, yeah.
Okay, so are you able to give us a few thoughts of yours on this topic, on personal branding and how we can help to progress our careers by projecting ourselves and our brands?
Okay, well, I'll try to chip in, but I heard some keywords. I heard branding. Did I hear mentorship as well?
Yeah, someone asked a question about how to become an attractive mentee.
Yeah, okay. I think I listened intently when Dr. Rita Okorafor was speaking, and she spoke to elements of the importance of individuals trying to promote a personal brand identity, as it were. You see, brand equity, be it a product, a service, or even a person, right? It's actually an important part of, extracting value or creating value for yourself. And we as professionals in the oil and gas sector, I don't think we do enough of that, and I could relate to what Rita, was presenting. So in my humble opinion, just to add to the conversations around it, my encouragement is to, particularly some professionals, is try and create some kind of unique identifier for yourself, what I would call a USP, a unique selling point, that whenever you keep repeating it over and over again, and it gets to a point that people tend to identify you. So it's more like a unique identifier.
I think we're losing Engineer Adebo's audio. So Adebo, we can't hear you clearly. Okay. You're breaking off in parts, but I think we got the message. Sorry, I'm going to wrap this up quickly. So thank you. You've talked about unique selling point, and he's also giving us a nudge as oil and gas professionals. We don't do enough. So we need to do more to project ourselves, to project our industry, and to share a lot of the things that we know. So thank you for that. I think that we got that message clearly. Okay, I will take this final question because it's very important and it's something that we see a lot. So in the spirit of being on social media, how do you stay relevant without following the bandwagon of writing unnecessary posts? Carify, please take that for us and let's wrap this up.
Thank you very much. I love social media. I think it's such a powerful tool. And that's what it is. Social media is a tool. So think of it as a tool. So the same way if you are on the field trying to drill, right, the materials that you need, right, you use them when it's relevant for you, right? So social media is a tool. The first thing you should ask yourself is focus on your focus. That's why I said trust your process. That's why I said, I'm speaking to all of these things, trust your process. You add the value, focus on your focus, because when you do, you would use social media to your advantage, right? So the first thing is, why am I here, right? If you're an introvert, You don't have to, and the thing about personal branding is that you don't have to change yourself to be what people think you need to be. Engineer Adebola talked about it, and I will speak about it over and over again. Use your strength to your advantage. You're a quiet person, right? How about you share 1 or 2 deep thoughts in a month? See, I promise you, you would even have you will have amazing followers, because you know that whenever Amina shows up, or whenever Ella shows up, even if it's once a month, you know that value is coming and people will wait for you. You also need to understand that you define the narrative. The reason why you are putting yourself under unnecessary pressure is because you are comparing yourself to other people. Focus on your focus. Ask yourself, why am I here? The reason why I'm on social media is, number 1, to teach people how to network, how to build brands, and how to make money. That's the only reason. Anything that does not concern those 3 things, you will never find me there. So have your clear boundaries on what it is you are about. And when you are focused, people will know you for that thing and they will follow you. The challenge is today, you want to talk about food. Tomorrow, you talk about oil and gas. Next, we want to talk about losing weight. You are everywhere. Nobody knows, nobody can point you to something. And then at the end of the day, you don't get your followers and then you're worried. So again, focus on your focus. Have a clear, have a clear understanding of why you are here. And then also trust your process. Trust your process. Trust your process is really important. And also the little things will add up. You post today, you wait for 1 week, you post again. In a year, you have 52 weeks. If you post every week for 52 weeks, at the end of the year, you have 52 posts, right? So trust your little beginnings, right? I tell people that stop comparing your chapter 1 with somebody's chapter 26. You want to compare yourself with Engineer Bada. How? How? He has all the years, he has all the experience. The level of expertise he has, it's not going to be the same that you have, right? And you need to understand that you have your own audience, right? There's somebody that needs to hear what you have to say in the way you have to say it. Me, when I talk a lot of energy. I say things like focus on your focus. Somebody else might have a very pristine way of speaking English. That's okay. They have their audience that will listen to them. So understand that you have your own audience. So do you focus on your focus? You are the value, you are important, you are enough. People want to listen to what you have to say. Trust your process. Stop comparing yourself to other people and take it step by step, little beginnings, consistency, it's really, really important. At the end of the day, all of these things will add up. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is a very interesting discussion. We can go all night, but my wind chair will not allow me. So, Madam Amina, I see your hand up. So, please, we can't leave without hearing you. So, please, quickly.
It's actually not a comment. It's actually, I have a question for Carrie Fire. She has fired me up.
Okay.
I also love LinkedIn. In fact, I was not a social media person at all. My sisters on this call will tell you that I was the last to ever join WhatsApp or anything, but that I'm more addicted than all of them now, and they keep laughing at me. But there's a new trend that I've started to observe on LinkedIn. Forgive me, I'm very old school. But you sometimes you see somebody post, with a half shirt or a long sleeve and maybe happy birthday, or please, can you address that? Because I don't think that is branding. I don't know, maybe educate me, maybe I'm wrong. But I think that should be for Facebook, not for places like LinkedIn or things like that. There's nothing wrong with branding yourself like that if you want to, but I think you should choose your address properly.
I agree completely. I'm on LinkedIn and I say on the streets of LinkedIn, we see fantastic things. People are turning LinkedIn into something else, but at the end of the day, that's why I tell everybody that it's very personal, right? People that are posting with long sleeves on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not, when LinkedIn was designed, it was for professional networking and all of that, right? Again, I just tell people that when I see such things, I smile, I laugh. Sometimes I'll send it to my sister and say, they've turned LinkedIn to engagement, whatever, and I'll laugh about it, right? But at the end of the day, I just focus on my own focus, right? And at the end of the day, the truth is that people that are doing all of those things, they are building their brand in whatever they think they are building their brand in, because you are, like I said, you are making your for everything you do, people are making decisions about you, So again, it is what the world has become. It is what people are doing. I wish I could off the button and say, everybody, let's focus on professional, whatever, but I don't have that power, So I just tell myself that, I focus on what I need to do what you need to do. You have your own audience, you know why you are here, right? Imagine if you start when like that's, it doesn't tie into what you're trying to do. So I just ignore and, and let people do what works for them. At the end of the day, like you said, it will add up. So your slits and all of that will add up at the end. Whatever you get at the end of the day, you collect. So I would just say, focus and focus. For me, it's not a great way to brand yourself corporately, because human beings will judge you, especially as a woman. You come back, everything. As much as people say the world is, the truth is that there's still a context. When you are in the always understand the context of where you are. If you're in the corporate world, there are rules that are written and unwritten, for you to follow. So it's important for you to adhere to those things if you want to succeed. Except you don't want to succeed, and except you want a different career. If you want to be a dancer, a musician, fine, those things will sell your market. So understand the context of where you are, the rules governing those contexts, right? And then, try to adhere to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, a virtual round of applause. I see we're clapping. Our panelists have been fantastic. We've taken some keywords. I mean, my notepad is full. We've talked about branding, and our image is really our image. What we show, how we show up, how we do our work. We must put in the work. And very important things. You are the value. Karika talked about that continuously. You are the value. I hope for all of us here, we're taking that. Know that you are enough. What are you bringing to the table? Own it and come to the table and showcase yourself. Self-promote. I think that's what we started with. So please, let's not lose sight of that as we go. I think these are, and I like that we've taken very actionable items that we can go out of this session and we can begin implementing from tomorrow. We talked about emotional intelligence. We talked about consistency. You can't be one person today and someone else tomorrow. So please, ladies and the gentlemen on the call, please be consistent. And I believe that in the near future, we'll begin to hear great stories from all of us. So thank you to all our panelists. You've been amazing. You've been fantastic. Thank you. And I'll hand over to the WIN committee.
Thank you so much, Madam Ella. Thank you, all our panelists. Thank you, our keynote speaker. Thank you, everyone that has been on the call up to this time. We sincerely appreciate it. Please turn on your cameras and your videos, and let's take some photographs. And please put on your best smiles. I love Madam Karika and Madam Dr. Rita, Madam Amina's smile. Oh, Ella, yours is amazing. Now, which one will I copy now? My goodness.
You have your own. Oh, focus on your focus.
Yeah, well done.
All right, Simeon, just let us know when you're done, when we're good.
People should smile, though. It's a bangest program. Smile.
Very true, SD, sir. I support.
That's my
Bangest section. Bangest SD.
Simeon, are we good?
We'll see you.
Simeon, how many more minutes?
We can't smile forever, please.
It's part of the branding.
Right? Simeon, can we stop smiling now?
Okay, yeah, we are good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simeon. Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for smiling. So we'll move straight into our couch section. Please, Gerard, I hope you're still on the call and you're ready for us. We need to quick this section. I know a lot of us. I don't see Gerard.
Yes.
Is he here?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me, Dorcas?
He's on the call.
Okay. Sorry. Please go ahead and launch your couch section.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So I will be anchoring the Kahoot session. As is the usual tradition of Section 103, we always encourage fun activities in the midst of technical discussions such as these. So on that note, we have set aside a Kahoot quiz for our wonderful audience. So for those of us who are not familiar with the Kahoot gaming platform, you just need to minimize your Zoom app, go to your browser, type in www.kahoot.it, and you'll be asked for a game pin. So I'll be sharing my screen in the next few seconds so that we can go ahead to start the game. So while waiting for that, please minimize your Zoom app, go to your browser, and type in www.kahoot.it, and just wait for the game pin to come up on your screen.
Okay, so while that is coming up, I would just want to quickly say a big and huge thank you to our panelists. I know some of them have had to run because they have some other meetings. Thank you very much for your time, and we really do appreciate you for taking time to join us and sharing the awesome experience that Nugget started with us. Thank you so much.
So, game the screen 904-3560. 904-3560.
All right, so as Madam Tumbari earlier stated, we have some very exciting prizes for our winners. So I'd like to encourage every one of us to please take part in this quiz. Don't be scared, the questions aren't too difficult, so I'm sure you do very well in it. So we have 22 participants now, we are still expecting more people. We have IT, June, Anita, Jane, Shedrack, Misty, Nonos, Worry, Cheesy, Blessings, Glory, Baby P, Faithy, the Africa Movement, KFC, yes, King Fabito, Ama, Adewale Sadiq, N.A. Mickey AM, Ima, Emi, Osita. So we have 28 people currently. We need more people. We have up to 64 participants on the call right now. So I need more participants in this game. All right, so we'll be waiting for the next 30 seconds for others to join in, after which we'll start with Kahoot quiz. All right, we have 35 people now, 36. Okay, we still have more people joining. So let's just wait a bit as others get in. Okay,
some time.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead to start. So we have 38 people. I wish everyone the best of luck and may the best man win or best woman win. All right, so our first question. The displayed flag belongs to the country with the world's largest oil reserves. What is its capital? So let's see how well we know our flags or how well we know our industry. All right, that is Caracas. So the country with the largest oil reserves is Venezuela, and the capital is Caracas. We had 7 correct answers. Let's see who's in the lead. We have Cheesy in the lead. I will take the next question. Which of these women was not an SPEI president? Which of these women was not an SPEI president? Is it Shona Noonan, Vicky Kolob, Leanne Craig, or Janine Judah? We have answers coming in. Let's see how many people get that right. Okay, the correct answer is Vicky Kolob. So she wasn't an SPI president, but it might interest you to know that she was the first female CEO of a US energy major. So let's see who is in the lead. Oh, we have KFC in the lead now. I guess we'll have free chicken at the end of this game from KFC. Who was the second astronaut to walk on the moon? Who was the second astronaut to walk on the moon? So I guess a lot of us know about the first, Neil Armstrong, but who was the second? All right, correct answer is Buzz Aldrin. 10 people got that correctly. So we have Sadiq in the lead now. Let's take the next question. In tennis, who won the 2021 Female US Open? So I'm guessing a lot of women should get this correctly. All right, it was Emma Raducanu. We have 10 correct answers. Let's see who is in the lead. We have Sadiq still in the lead. Let's take the next question. Who is the 2023 SPEI president? How many of us are up to date with our SPEI history and activities? Who is the 2023 SPEI president? Correct answer is Med Kamal. We have 9 correct answers. Sadiq is still in the lead. We have IT in second place and the African movement in third. Let's take the 6th question. This woman was recently appointed as the first female managing director of SNECO. Who is she? So if you are paying attention, Madam Amina mentioned this at the start of this session. So let's see how many people were actually paying attention at that time. So the woman you can see on your screen, she is the current managing director of SNECO. What is her name? What is her name? Her name is Eloho Aiboni. Let's see how many who's in the lead. We still have Sadiq in the lead. So let's take the next question. The displayed image is the flag of what European country? The displayed image is the flag of what? All right, 13 people got that correctly. Wow. So that is Norway. Let's see who is in the lead. Oh, IT has overtaken Sadiq. So let's take the 8th question. Which famous female physicist unlocked the secrets of carbon's molecular structures and is known as the Queen of Carbon? Is it Dr. Liz Meitner, Dr. Maria Telkes, Dr. Christina Pelez, or Dr. Mildred Dresserhaus? Wow, 15 people got that correctly. Wow, that's amazing. So it's Dr. Mildred Dresselhaus. And we still have IT in the lead, Sadiq in second place, and Blessings in third place. So let's have the 9th question. So the SPE Women in Energy was established in what year? Is it 2016? Is it 2015? Is it 2020? Or is it 2019? All right, the correct answer is 2016. Let's see who's in the lead. Oh, we still have IT in the lead. Blessings in second place now, and Sadiq in third place. So let's see who walked away with our grand prize today. In what year was SPE section 103, that is Port Harcourt section, in what year was it established? Was it in 1989, 1987, 1988, or 1986? That was in 1987. 15 people got that correctly. So let's see who our winners are today. In third place with 5,300. In first place, we have IT. In second place, we have Blessings. And in third place, we have Sadiq. We also have runners-up, June in fourth place. So IT, Blessings, and Sadiq, congratulations. Please, I hope you have screenshots of your username. So please reach out to Dorcas after this call to claim your prizes. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you to everyone who took part in this quiz. I hope you enjoyed it and do have a lovely evening. Thank you. Over to you, Dorcas.
Thank you so much, Dara. That was amazing. Congratulations on Blessing, IT, and all the rest of our other winners. Please ensure to reach out to us so you can get your prizes. We have 15,000 Naira worth cash and win this. And then for second position, we have 10,000 Naira worth. And for position, we have 5,000 Naira worth. So please reach out to us so you can bring your prizes. As usual, you always plan me. I'll prepare better next time. All right, so the next activity today is our membership drive. So please, are you in the house today? Okay, yes, I see her. So please, Marianne, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everyone. I don't know if you have the membership slides. Apologies if you, okay. All right, so we have the membership slides. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Ann Augustine, and I'm the co-membership chair for this body. I'm very excited to have been in this event from the start up till this moment. It has been very engaging, and I don't have much to say about SPE. Having gone through this event, you will know that SPE is a place for every today's industry professional, students, young professional, and regardless of your experience or your course of study. I mean, who have not learned a lot or who have not gained a lot from today's event. So this is a call. If you are not an SPE member, I advise you join today. And if you are an SPE member, I advise that you renew your membership so that you continue to gain from this SPE benefit. So SPE is a professional body, and we have students as our members. We also have recent graduates, young professionals, and even senior professionals as our membership. And there are a lot of benefits to SPE membership. Just like you've seen, this event is one out of numerous events that we hold in SPE, especially here in SPE Port Harcourt section. We also have other live technical events, such as our monthly technical meetings and numerous other events. And on the next slides, you would agree with me that SPE Port Harcourt section is the second largest section in Nigeria, where we cover 6 states and 13 student chapters, ranging from Futo, Uniport, University of Akwa Ibom, and other student chapters. So if you're a student, and you're not an SPE member, you can identify with any university that is within these 6 states that I've mentioned and belong to a student section, so that you have this SPE membership benefits. So for students, SPE is free, and for professionals, it is 27,000 to be an SPE member and 21,000 to renew your membership. So we also have some cut down prices for our young professionals, and you can also engage me if you're ready to renew your membership today. For further inquiries, questions, or complaints, you can reach out to the SP Secretariat, and the email address is there on your screen, spephc@gmail.com. And you can also reach out to the membership chairperson, the person of Mr. Moses Alom. His email address is there. You can also reach out to me. My email address is there, very simple, austinmaryann@gmail.com. You can reach out to me for further inquiries or any other question you have clarification. Thank you very much, and I encourage you to renew your SP membership, because this month brings us to the end of 2021, and going forward, you may not be eligible to some benefits you are eligible to this year. So I encourage you to renew your membership and continue to be a member. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Thank you so much for that membership drive. And we look forward to a lot of us on this call joining us as SPE members. The link is being shared on the chat box. You just click the link, fill the necessary information, and our membership team people will reach out to you and ensure that your membership is a smooth and easy one. Thank you so much. So the next on our agenda is the closing remark, or the closing speech.
All right. Thank you very much, Dorcas. And I don't think it will be a speech as such. I just want to say a very quick thank you on behalf of the entire WIN subcommittee of the Port Harcourt section. I want to say thank you to everyone who has stayed up till this time. We really do appreciate your time. It was indeed a very exciting and awesome time, and we are really very thankful that you could still stay here, and also for the opportunity for us to actually present this to you. We actually and heartily acknowledge the contribution of the entire team who worked tirelessly to make today a success. I mean, Dorcas, Okorafor, Queen, Jane, Amen, Shola, Wawari, one of these senior, you are truly awesome. I like the right words to describe your commitment and willingness to complete this task above and beyond your comfort zone. I also want to thank the panelists, even though I know most of them have left us here, but I want to thank them very much in absentia for actually gracing this event. Thank you very much for making today special and indeed very unique. And finally, this event would not have been possible without the efforts of our senior members, our professional members, our YPs, our students, and also you yourself. Thank you for accepting our invitation and your support towards the growth of this year section. We will continue to grow to greater heights, reeling in more achievements. The WIN committee is especially excited at this. We especially want to thank you for taking time to attend this event, and may God bless you all. We wish you a very good evening and hope that you continue to stay safe and stay well. Thank you. Have a very good evening.
Thank you so much, Madam Thornberry. Thank you. So here are our future events, and we look forward to you joining us when these future events are being launched or hosted. Especially if you're a member of SP Port Harcourt section, you can always volunteer to help out with this event. Thank you so much. And then the last but not the least on our agenda, like I told us today, we're starting with a prayer and we're going to close with a prayer. So at this time, I would like for a volunteer to go ahead and give us a closing prayer. I hope I won't have to still call someone again. Remember, they say, speak up, do it afraid, people, do it afraid. Let's build our brand, though. Those of us that were dropping comments on the chat box, here is an opportunity to build your brand, to boast your brand.
Let's go. Thank you, Heavenly Father.
Eno, please go ahead and pray for. Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for making it possible for each and every one of us to gather here this evening. Thank you for the wisdom shared. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for the understanding. And I am praying that we go home with this knowledge and apply it in our various places of work and at home. All these and many more favors we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Man, thank you so much, Patrick.
Amen.
Now we know you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Amen.
Madam Tomba, thanks so much, guys, for joining. Thank you.
Madam LinkedIn,
Facebook,
Facebook,
congratulations,
everyone.